Hey guys, this is Pastor Michael. I'm just doing this little video because several people today and on Wednesday asked me what happened to my hand. Well, I'm going to tell you, and the reason why I'm going to tell you is because it's something that I think people need to know. And I know many of you know this already, and I kind of knew this, but I didn't realize how serious it could be. So anyway, uh, on Tuesday, I was using my power washer, my pressure washer to wash some things on my deck, and also we're going to clean some fish, and so I was going to put a softer nozzle on the end of it. But anyway, as I turned it on, my pressure washer hose had a pinhole leak in it, and so when I turned it on, that hose just went crazy. It was flying everywhere, and that pressure from that little pinhole was just shooting out water so hard that I knew that if it hit something or somebody, it could damage or hurt someone. So quickly, I tried to grab the hose in order to keep this from hitting anybody. But when I grabbed the hose, I actually accidentally grabbed it right where the hole was. And soon as I grabbed it right where the hole was, and I was even wearing some latex gloves at the time, but as soon as I grabbed it right where the hole was, it felt like somebody shot my finger off. And so I motioned to my son, Josiah, and started saying, cut it off. And finally he ran over and cut it off. And after he cut it off, I honestly expected to see my finger pretty much severed. And so he cut it off, and like I said, I had a latex glove on, and it had a huge hole in it. And so I pulled it off, and I was expecting to see my finger dangling or something. And this was on a Tuesday night. So I pulled it off, and thankfully my finger wasn't dangling, but it was just completely swollen. You can see just the flesh sticking out, and you saw this deep cut. And so I went inside and I told my wife about it, and so she took me to the emergency room, but when we went to the emergency room, we packed it in ice and wrapped it up and got to the emergency room. And because we packed it up so well and covered it with ice so well, we literally made it so numb that the blood had stopped flowing to the hand. So I got to the emergency room, and the attendees saw it, and they put a bandage on it and said, okay, we'll take a look at it in just a second. We'll call you back in just a minute. And because when they bandaged it, it didn't look that bad because there's no blood flowing to it, I thought, this is not as bad as I think it is. Let me just go home. So we decided to leave, and I went home. And then a little bit later, as my hand began to thaw out a little bit, the bandage just was seeping with blood. Blood was pouring outside of the bandage. And so I asked my wife to change my bandage, and when she took it off, blood literally just started gushing out down my arm and got all over my wife, got all over the counter and all over the table. And so she quickly tried to bandage it back up, and we realized that there was a problem. So I went back to the emergency room, and I saw the doctor there, and he said, you know what, these are very common accidents. We see these all the time. And he says, because we see these all the time, we know the damage that they can cause and the infection that you can have from that water pressure shooting in and causing such a laceration. So he called a specialist, and this was in the evening. He called a specialist, a hand specialist, and the hand specialist said, don't sew it up. Have him come see me on Thursday so I can inspect it. But I want to give it like a day's rest so I can let the trauma settle down a little bit so I can really see what we're dealing with. So I went on Thursday, and I saw the specialist. He unwrapped it, and my hand was swollen. My finger was swollen, and it was purple, and I had a lot of redness down in the base of my palm and everything. And he said, yeah, exactly what I thought. He said, I think because of that water pressure that happened, infection has set in and has traveled through part of your hand. And because of that, we're going to have to do surgery, open it up, and clean all that out so you don't get abscess or get a severe infection. And so Friday morning, sorry, my phone kind of cut off on me. I think we're still live here. Let me see. Are we still live? Yeah, I think we're still live. So I headed to the doctor, and as I headed to the doctor, they inspected it, and they told me that well, I headed to the doctor, sorry, on Friday, and went in for surgery, and I had the surgery done, and the surgeon came out afterward and said, yes, exactly like we expected. You had infection that has already traveled down into your hand, so we had to cut it open in several different places and clean out the tendon and get all the infections out of the tendons. And so because of that, now I have my hand wrapped up, and this is all just because of a stinking little pinhole on my pressure washer hose. So I just want to give this tip to everybody. Listen, if your pressure washer looks like it's about to have a start of a hole, or already has a pinhole or something like that, turn that thing off, throw that thing away, and get a new hose so something like this doesn't happen to you. Okay? So now, hopefully enough people watch this video so they won't be asking me, what happened to your hand? Yes, I injured my hand on Tuesday, and on Friday, I ended up having surgery because of that injury. So be careful when you use your pressure washers. God bless you guys. This is Pastor Michael.